The first topic of the day, of course, is the very recently made publicly available 24.10 update. And then I hand over to DefineX for their presentation running Siebel on OpenShift. So give me one moment. Oh, a lot of people. So yeah, welcome everybody just joined. We are starting with a quick overview of what is in Siebel 24.10. It has just been released this week. And so here is the list of things that you can expect in 24.10. First of all, it's not many new features, actually no new features, but one additional functionality, I think it was called in the release notes. That's the OCI AI integration with the speech AI service now uses the OpenAI Whisper Medium model by default. So it was using the Oracle model, now the Whisper Medium, which is available on the speech service for quite a while. So it's now the default for text transcription. And the other news is about Siebel Cloud Manager, where if you run Siebel Cloud Manager in one of the later versions, we'll actually see it has learned a lot. The API page has really grown, and there are a lot of new functionalities, which will probably be documented soon. And the one that made it into documentation for 24.10 is the mirroring of base images. So in any case, you run Siebel Cloud Manager already, or you're testing the waters, check out the new version. There have been also some documentation bookshelf updates along the way, and a new version of Tomcat, probably addressing vulnerability issues. 9093 is the Tomcat. So just briefly about speech-to-text transcription. Yes, that is a thing. Siebel can transcribe audio and video files. So since 22.10, it was a bit limited. We have the functionality built by Oracle is the sample use case of adding a WAV file to the service request attachments. There's the transcribe button, and that if you have selected the WAV file, it will send it off to OCI speech service and will wait for the transcription to happen and then upload the transcribed text as a text attachment. So very cool. And with 24.9, that was enhanced with the general 24.9 enhancements for OCI AI. So if you're not sure what that is, watch the previous Siebel Friday, which was a virtual Siebel Friday because I was not available. But it's a nice recorded Siebel Friday for 24.9. And as we said, 24.10 Oracle changed the game a little bit by defaulting to the Whisper Medium model for speech transcription, which is an LLM-based model. And is, yeah, I use it. Actually, I use it a lot for transcribing YouTube videos, believe it or not. And now it's integrated in Siebel, so great stuff. So, of course, that prompted us at the Siebel Hub to update our OCI integration course, OCI AI integration, sorry. So, yeah, there's a link. There will be a link in the description of the video when you watch it on YouTube. So make sure if you're starting with OCI AI integration, make sure to get the latest updated, always up-to-date Siebel training. That's what we do. Siebel Cloud Manager, well, we will briefly touch on Siebel Cloud Manager later in this Siebel Friday. So if you run one of the latest versions, you get that container that runs in a Linux box, and that is the Siebel Cloud Manager application. And that exposes a REST API, basically. So not sure if you know that already, you might have never heard much about Siebel Cloud Manager. And that REST API grows release by release. That's really good to see. So it learns a lot with every release, which happens sometimes twice a month. So much more updates than the regular Siebel, I see. And yeah, that's all documented, so I will not go into details, but among other things, it learned how to manage your custom copies of containers with your own custom container registry by mirroring the Oracle containers So if you want to run your own container or extend that container, you can first pull and push it into a customer container registry. So yeah, if you, it's the first time, it's probably not the first time if you're a Siebel Friday regular to hear about Siebel Cloud Manager, but you might be new or still fresh with that whole container thing, Siebel Cloud Manager. What's the difference? Deploying Siebel CRM in the cloud age with either standalone containers, as we will see demonstrated by DefineX, can be run successfully in any orchestration of your choosing, or you use Siebel Cloud Manager, which then predefines the location. At least it's on OCI exclusively, at least at the time of this recording, and it has been expanded recently to support bring your own Kubernetes or bring your own cloud native computing compatible orchestration like OpenShift. So that was 24.8. So watch this space, as they say, and also watch, if you're so inclined, the Siebel training we have, the Siebel Hub training module. We have an entire course in the meantime, so it's several hours of video training you can get, and we'll give you a complete walkthrough through Cloud Manager. And yeah, before I hand over to DefineX, just a little reminder, the Applications Unlimited tour is in full swing. So just came back from Madrid, and yesterday was the Reading event, which was very successful, I hear. And we have 2 more events to go in Europe. So if you're around and want to meet up with the Siebel Hub team, and also, of course, with all the good people from Oracle or fellow customers, fellow partners, yeah, hit the registration link, go to Paris and Frankfurt, maybe. Okay, so yeah, that's it from my side. I promised it was brief. I see, yeah, that we are ready to go with, yeah, Serkan. So
hi, Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hand over to you.
Thank you for accepting and hosting us. It's wonderful to be here. And we are delighted to have the opportunity to share our experiences, which are relevant with deploying Siebel on different Kubernetes platforms, like OpenShift that you mentioned. So now, actually, I will share my screen.
Yes, it comes in nicely.
Perfect. Okay, so today we are here together with Ozan and Yener. Let me briefly mention about myself. I'm a senior architect working for DefineX, and I'm responsible from CRM and integration projects, especially for the architecture side as a senior architect. Ozan?
Hi Serkan. Hi everyone. This is Ozan. I work as a lead developer at DefineX. Also, I have an experience more than 12 years in Siebel development.
Perfect. And we also have Yener in the call.
Hi everyone. Thanks Alex for having us today. I'm Yener, and I have been in the tech industry for about 7 years now. I'm currently a lead developer at DefineX, focused on Siebel projects. Thank you.
Now I will elaborate a little bit on Siebel because we have more than 15 years here and a special focus on Siebel. We are focusing especially on communication, sales, and marketing modules, on telecom and finance clients. As I mentioned before, we are a boutique consulting company with 350 resources, which means you cannot do all, you cannot serve to all industries and all capabilities. We have a specific focus, and Siebel is one of our strengths, I will say. We delivered more than 300 projects so far, and we are working in different methodologies, Agile, Waterfall. So far, we delivered more than 1,000 Siebel processes and more than 5 100 jobs to production. We have more than 30 experienced Siebel developers and consultants, and we can easily scale the number of Siebel resources depending on customer requirements using our delivery center in Turkey. As a consulting company, we care a lot about customer satisfaction, and we have an overall 6.72 CSAT out of 7, which is very critical KPI for us. We are tracking it for all our projects, and we are serving to major banks and telco operators, and they're highly demanding. Now, actually, I will talk a little bit about our story. I will say about running Siebel on OpenShift. I know that currently there are announcements coming from Oracle together with 24.8. It's becoming much easier, but we worked with a major telco operator in Turkey to run Siebel on OpenShift for production, and we went live 1.5 years ago. This might be a little bit surprising for some of you, because, I mean, Oracle didn't provide native YAML files for Kubernetes installations other than Oracle Kubernetes Engine. Of course, there are recent announcements and updates, and we are very glad to hear them. But our client had the historical Siebel installation, version 8.1. You might be familiar with this. This is the good old Siebel running on virtual machines. It might also be physical machines. I mean, you might have several customers, or you might have an environment running on conventional Siebel installation with Windows servers, monolithic one, hard to scale. And this was the case for our client as well. They were trapped or locked on version 8, and it was out of support, out of date. And in Turkey, also, I mean, the local presence of Oracle, I will say, on ACS side is also limited for Siebel. And our clients had budgetary restrictions as well. Plus, in Turkey, maybe you already know this, but you are not able to use public cloud because it's highly regulated, especially on finance and telco industries. So public cloud is not an option. You cannot use Oracle Cloud, Oracle Public Cloud for a telco operator or a financial institution, which is a pity, because I know that it's very easy to do a lift and shift and to modernize your Siebel if you are using OCI. Plus, our client didn't have an OCI installation of private cloud, I will say, on their premises, and they were not willing to invest on OCI only for Siebel. They were using OpenShift as a Kubernetes platform, container orchestration platform. This was the context, and it was really tough and challenging. By the way, we were also discussing replacement of Siebel because for a while, they were a little bit concerned about Oracle's strategy, but later on, the announcements came about continuation of investments on Oracle Siebel. Of course, it was good news, and the client was also relieved. They were very happy about Siebel, but the problem was they couldn't see a clear strategy. The first thing we did was to present Oracle's strategy around Siebel, the good news about containerization. I mean, I have seen the GitHub link, and we also had a chat with Duncan Ford as well from Oracle, and I believe it's a very critical updates for Oracle Siebel, the containerization, and a good strategic move. And for this telco operator, we performed an upgrade and we re-platformed it to OpenShift. This is the new topology. You might be familiar with OpenShift or maybe not. Let me just state that it's another CNCF compliant container orchestration platform. I mean, you might be already familiar with Kubernetes and different Kubernetes platforms like Oracle Kubernetes Engine, or, I mean, if you are using AWS, you might have heard AKS, for instance. Our client was already using OpenShift, and they had a huge investment on OpenShift, and they were not willing to invest for OCI. So what we did, we received the containers from Oracle, and we went the Rocky path. Alex, you are also referring to this as a Rocky path because it is truly a Rocky path, and it was really challenging. Here you can see like HA proxy, Red Hat self-storage. These are like OpenShift specific terminology. You do not have them, most of them, I mean, in native OCI installation or OT installation of Oracle Siebel. I mean, we discovered them on the path and we resolved a lot of issues on the way. Today, ENR is actually going to present some of the challenges that we faced while running Siebel on OpenShift. ENR?
Hello everyone again. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. At DefineX, my main role is to lead and implement solutions that help our team navigate complex system integrations and deployments efficiently. I'm really looking forward to sharing some of our recent experience and, of course, challenges with Siebel on OpenShift and how we work through them. Thanks again, Alex, for having us. So one of the issues we run into was with the host name. In the beginning of the journey, we create a standard deployment for Siebel in OpenShift. Every time we increase the port number of Siebel deployment, the host name will change. But the init Siebel script needed a static host name. So we had problems here. What we ended up doing was switching from a standard deployment to a stateful set like in OCI, and that let the host name same for every increased port, and this let the init Siebel script run smoothly and work properly. This was crucial for the Siebel persistence layer actually. Another big issue was the port bits limit. OpenShift by default limits the number of threads per pod to 1024, but Siebel needed more than that, as you guess. We kept getting these errors like pthread create failed, and others. It is basically blocked the new user session, and the solution was so basic actually, but unfortunately it took us a long time for find it. We just increased the pit limit across all environments, and that worked. Then there was the permission issues, mainly with the security context while running the pods as the Siebel user. To fix that, we had to set the security context for all the PVCs, persistent volume claims, all the stateful sets in OpenShift, and after that, no more permission conflicts. On the performance side, we had some trouble with the slow network access, especially with the database connection from the Siebel SES servers. Turns out the hardware was the bottleneck here. Once we upgraded that, and the problem is disappeared. We also run into performance issues with the read-write many file system. Siebel generates a lot of small files, as you know, like log files and user preferences files, and sometimes that was slow down IO operations. We did some optimizations, but honestly, there is still room for improvement there. So that is something we are continuing to work on. Here, maybe we can separate the safes. Maybe we can switch the from safes to RBD in all the posts in OpenShift. We are still looking into it, but it is really good state in the production and the test environments, no problem. But we are trying to make it better here. Memory consumption was another issue. Over time, the pods started eating up memory until they crashed because of the over memory consumption. We fixed here by adjusting the JVM memory settings and optimizing garbage collection here. That made things more stable. Here we also made the optimization in the Siebel performance tuning document, Oracle, especially the tasks and empty service like that, optimization of the Siebel components. Pod communication was also key too. We set up headless services and normal services in the OpenShift to make sure Siebel server pods could see each other, could communicate each other. It was important for all Siebel pods because all Siebel servers must see available in the server manager. And TLS settings, this was a big deal for us. Normally, Nginx handles SSI termination on OCI, but we used HA proxy on OpenShift because it is the default proxy on OpenShift for routing and load balancing there. This added some complexity in setting up the TLS settings. OpenShift has a few TLS termination options, such as Edge, Pass-Through, and Re-encrypt. After trying them out, we choose Re-encrypt one for the Siebel because it allowed us to encrypt traffic between the client and HA proxy, and of course, HA proxy and Siebel web servers. That gave us the extra security without hurting performance, hurting security. We also optimized SSL certificate management and tuned the HA proxy route settings to handle traffic better. That really helped us improve both security and performance. At the end, we found the best TLS configuration for Siebel, making sure the environment was secure and fast. These are just a few of the challenges we faced. In the beginning, there was some pushback from other teams wondering if OpenShift was even the right platform for this deployment. But all that, we successfully deployed Siebel on OpenShift without any data loss and no delays, with really good teamwork. Thanks our team from here too. It's really took a lot of collaboration and perseverance and sleepless nights also. But we now have stable and high-performing Siebel. I hope this experience helps the others for want to do something like this journey. Thanks for listening. Thank you all.
Thank you, Yener, for sharing the insights and some of the challenges and their resolutions. As you can imagine, I mean, although this seems easy, I mean, we had the difficulty of resolving them all one by one. And as Yener mentioned, it took a lot of effort. And we knew that it would take a lot of effort. And our initial thought was using a YAML file or a Helm chart maybe provided by Oracle to deploy Siebel on a different Kubernetes engine. I mean, but in the beginning of the journey, Oracle's strategy was prioritizing, of course, SCM and also OCI and Oracle Kubernetes engine. And we can understand that. But on the other hand, our client had a different requirement. I mean, and they had different challenges, budgetary restrictions, regulations, and they already had Kubernetes installation there and OpenShift. So that's why we chose the rocky path to support our client. And we also knew that in the end, Oracle would also make it available to run Siebel on different Kubernetes installations, which was recently announced together with 24.8. I would also elaborate on that as well. And I'm really happy to see that as well, because this was really tough and challenging for us. And it would be meaningless for different companies or different engineers to try to resolve them all by themselves. So it's like rediscovering somewhere again and again. The part about OpenShift, I mean, is just one part, but on the other hand, as you can imagine, there is a huge complexity on the data side. You also need to migrate the data. We also worked with our clients to find a solution for data migration. I know that it's not the ideal one. I mean, usually Oracle is recommending usage of tools like Golden Gate or near real-time synchronization, but our clients lacked Golden Gate, so we helped them in another way. So now Ozan is in the call to elaborate on some of the challenges that we faced during the data migration process. Ozan?
Thank you, Serkan. Hi again, everyone. As Serkan mentioned, I will talk about the Delta data migration process. As Serkan said, Golden Gate is the often used for this type of data migration process, but we didn't use Golden Gate because the database team at our client had never experienced the Golden Gate setup before. Because of this, we wrote our procedures to transfer all added, updated, and deleted data to the new database after copying to production database. Before getting into details of the data migration process, I would like to talk about some of the challenges we faced at the start. First off, the system had been running for 13 years with around 6,000 tables and about 25 terabytes of data. Also, with the major version upgrade in the Siebel system, the data model was changed and some tables had new columns or existing ones removed and some columns data types were modified. Another challenge was after copying production database and upgrading from 11G to 19C, there was a risk of data loss for nearly 20 million records processed daily until the new version was fully operational. Lastly, we only had 5 hours for data migration after shutting down the old system. So for all these reasons, it was necessary for us to prepare a careful strategy. So how did we design a process to tackle this challenge? The first and, in my opinion, the most important step is the data analysis step. For data analysis step, we focused on some critical points to make sure the migration would run smoothly. First, we looked at the largest tables by data volume to see needed to be migrated. We also look at the physical size of the tables using a query from the DBA segment table, again focusing on the largest ones. And filtered out the temporary backup and archive tables because they didn't need to be migrated. Another critical step is planning step. Our data migration plan mainly relied on the created date, last updated date, and row ID columns. If these columns were in the table, we included it in the daily migration process, which keep the data aligned for edit, updated, or deleted by the end of each day. If any of these columns were missing, we transferred all data on the go live day. Also on the go live day, the alignment of tables in different schemas, database sequence alignment, and the alignment of the SSA ID table, which is the generate the next row ID in Siebel, are other important processes. Also, I would like to talk about some key points, some important points to consider during this process. First off, exclude system tables from the migration process, such as SOC version table. So also, you can refer to Oracle's documentation to identify these tables. Next, don't include the data with the created date 1/1/1980, because these are mostly system data. Another point, you can improve procedure performance by using database hints. For example, driving site, append, parallel, and DBMS error log are quite useful hints. Also, pay attention to reporting is important. You can create a table to track how many records were transferred from which tables and how long it took to complete the transfer. This information also can help you to improve procedure performance. Lastly, make sure to use parallel execution. Running multiple procedures that check different tables at the same time can really speed up the migration time. Looking at the results of this migration process, nearly 1.8 billion records were transferred without any data loss or data corruption. You can also see the average execution times and total data counts for the daily migration and the go live day migration scripts. That's it for me. Thank you for listening. Serkan.
Thank you, Ozan, for sharing your insights about data migration. I mean, 1.8 billion is a huge number. And of course, I mean, this is like the incumbent operator in Turkey, so it's normal to have a lot of data, and we knew that it would be challenging. And we didn't use Golden Gate here, but rather we provided two-way scripts for doing the migration. And since the data models were also different between version 8 and 22, it was like adding additional complexity. And by the efforts of our team, we implemented the scripts and also fine-tuned them. This was also very critical for the migration process. Without a solid strategy on data migration, it's impossible to support the clients. I mean, like large telco operators or banks, because the numbers are huge, the data is huge. As Ozan mentioned, there were more than 25 terabytes across 2,000 tables, and 1.8 billion records had to be migrated during this process. So it's like challenges on top of the other challenges, but in the end, it was a success for our client. I just would like to briefly mention about some of the results. In terms of efficiency, the package preparation duration reduced 92% from 3 hours to 15 minutes with the new Oracle Siebel 22.3, and then of course we incrementally updated it later on. But our developers were really happy for the package preparation duration. And on the deployment side, both the test support teams and operation teams were celebrating, because in the end, we reduced it from 3 hours to 5 minutes, which is huge. I mean, thanks to the functionalities and capabilities of the new version, and also the platforms as well. On the database side, as Ozan mentioned, we upgraded from 11G to 90C, which improved the queries significantly, and this also impacted the application performance. So we observed around 20% increase on the application performance with the new Siebel. on sanity tests, we were spending like 1 hour, and now it's around 5 minutes. Again, it's around 92% efficiency or reduction on sanity test duration. In terms of stability, you can imagine, I mean, even adding 1 digit to availability is tough, but here, I mean, in the old topology or old architecture, old version, and there were various reasons for downtimes. The availability was increased by up to 1%, which is huge. I mean, you might already know that, I mean, adding even 1 digit to availability is a real challenge. But together with the capabilities of OpenShift and also the improvements with the new version of Oracle Siebel on application side, and also an upgrade on the database side, the availability improved around 1%. The RTO was reduced from 6 hours to 30 minutes, which is a huge improvement. And also for disaster recovery, we calculated the VR switch time to be 30 minutes, like half an hour, which was previously 6 hours. On the security side, of course, the CVE detected before production reduced significantly. The client Siebel installation on the new version was, of course, more secure. Before that, they were locked with the old version, version 8, and it was out of support, out of date. They were not able to patch it. So lots of CVEs detected before production. It reduced significantly, and now we are able to get the patches from Oracle as well. And we are easily applying it. The patching complexity reduced like 95%, which is much easier compared to the previous topology, which included a lot of Windows servers. You need to find a way to do the patching. And in terms of scalability, especially the OpenShift capabilities helped significantly. Now it's much easier to scale the environment. So these are some of the results that we achieved together with the upgrades. And finally, I just would like to say that this was a challenging way, but now there are different options for Siebel customers, and there are good news coming from Oracle. I mean, Alex is announcing them on Siebel Fridays, and you might see that together with 24.8, there are good news. Of course, on the recent strategy announcements, I mean, if you check the latest updated strategy announcement, which was released on April 2024, Oracle already made it clear that they are working on making Oracle more open in terms of platform. I mean, you do not have to be locked on OCI or Oracle Kubernetes Engine. You have your options. You don't have to use Oracle Kubernetes Engine as a container orchestration platform, or you do not have to buy OCI to run Siebel on containerized version. Oracle made it clear that it would be more open and it would support different options as well, which was promising. And now, together with 24.8, we see this announcement from Oracle stating that you can bring your own Kubernetes. You have different options. You can run, of course, Siebel on an existing Oracle Kubernetes engine, or can you bring your own Oracle Cloud Native environment, or you can even run Siebel on different Kubernetes technologies, as long as it's CNCF compliant, like OpenShift, for instance, which was the case for us. But we did it in the hard way. It was the challenging way, but we achieved it 1.5 years ago. So, which was also very critical for our clients, because they were trapped in the legacy Siebel. So briefly, actually, this is our experience about running Siebel on OpenShift. I know that we didn't go into all the nitty-gritty details, but I mean, as you can imagine, It was very challenging, and there were a lot of nitty-gritty details. And if you just go through each one of them, the session might last even days. So I will stop here. And once again, I will thank to Alex for hosting us and inviting us to Siebel Friday. We are delighted to find the opportunity of sharing our experience. I mean, I know that this all sounds tough, but currently, together with Oracle's recent announcements, together with 24.8, it's much easier. You have different options. We just would like to emphasize that, I mean, it's possible to run Siebel in production grade for large telco operators or financial institutions, which was the case for our clients. I mean, if you are currently looking for different options for your clients, so if you are concerned, for instance, whether it would be logical to run Siebel on OpenShift or, I don't know, in different Kubernetes technologies, we can just say that we went through that way, and in the end, we have Siebel environment running for our clients. At least I can give you this message, and I already shared some of these messages coming from Oracle, which are already good news, and I'm really delighted to hear them as well. Now, I mean, Siebel is stronger, and it's more open. I know that Alex already shared version 24.8 news, and we already have all those materials on Siebel Hub. So we just wanted to share our own experiences. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, I mean, before closing, maybe we can answer a couple of them.
Yes. Oh, wow. Serkan, thank you to you and the team. Incredible achievement, of course, to, well, let's just summarize it. Upgrade 8.1 with high availability, and then, or in the course of that, not only producing a new infrastructure, but also using a non-standard infrastructure like OpenShift, and this was a huge success, of course. So thank you very much for sharing. And well, the room is open. The microphones are open if you have questions to Serkan. Please also maybe type up the questions in the chat so we can maybe address them later when there's not time to address all of the questions. Okay, room is open. All right, so flabbers are profoundly gasted, and there's one question from Jason. Hi, Jason. And Jason says, congratulations, Serkan.
Oh, thanks a lot. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks for sharing your findings and insights. Yeah.
Thanks for listening us. I mean, I would be glad if you have any questions, I can try to answer them before closing. I mean, of course, you can reach out later on.
Yeah. Okay.
So Serkan, regarding scalability, what approaches were you able to take advantage of to reduce that time in scaling out?
Yeah. Thank you for the question, Jason. Especially, I mean, if you checked OCI, you know, there is the Flux, which is GitOps approach. We tried to adopt it, but for OpenShift, we proceeded with custom autoscalers on worker node level as well. Because, you know, although Siebel is currently running on a cloud-based approach, still it's not cloud native, and it's consuming a lot of resources, and it's working on stateful sets. So custom autoscalers was crucial, and we leveraged on the capabilities of OpenShift to make it available for our clients. But on OCI, I mean, Flux is also critical, and there are already existing autoscalers. Now we are planning to adopt them since Oracle announced together with 24.8 the SCM, and also now we are planning to do POCs, and we are planning to update our autoscalers to make it more Oracle native, I will say. But for OpenShift, it was custom autoscalers, Jason, and it was really challenging.
Great, thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jason. So yes, so if there are no more questions, the video will be, of course, be posted on the Siebel Hub YouTube channel in short time, the playback. And seems like there is no more questions, so
Yeah.
we can close this Siebel Friday. Thanks very much again to all the good people at DefineX, so you're hardworking and resourceful people, so that definitely shows. And I hope we hear from you very soon with, with more news.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Alex. Thanks for inviting us.
Okay, and
thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah, thank you everybody, and have a good weekend. Stay safe. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you all. Bye bye.